We gather today with grateful hearts for the official commissioning and ribbon cutting ceremony of Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited. We thank you for the vision, the courage, hard work, and resources that have brought this company to this important moment. We acknowledge that every good gift comes from you, and we ask you to bless this establishment and all that will take place within it. Bless the owners, the management, the workers, the partners, and all who have contributed to making this dream a reality. Grant them wisdom in leadership, integrity in business, creativity in work, and respect for the dignity and welfare of every employee. May Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited become a source of decent employment, especially for the young people, a place where talents are developed, livelihoods are strengthened, and families and communities are supported. May its operations contribute meaningfully to the growth of Ghana's textile and apparel industry and to the development of our nation. As we commission this facility and cut a ribbon today, we ask you to protect it from every danger and to guide all who work here. May there be safety in the workplace, harmony among workers, fairness in dealings, excellence in production, and prosperity that is a shared responsibility. Bless our distinguished guests, our president and government officials, our traditional and religious leaders, our business partners, and everyone that is gathered here this afternoon. May this occasion, Lord, mark not simply the opening of a facility, but the beginning of many years of productive service and opportunity and hope. We therefore entrust Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited and its future into your loving loves, Heavenly Father. May the work begun here prosper for the good of all and the greater glory of your name. And we make this prayer as always through your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Father Thaddeus Kusa, for the Christian prayer. We are going to take the Muslim prayer, and I want us to invite upstage the Chief Imam of Savelugu to do us the honors. Can we welcome him with a round of applause, please? So here we have the Chief Imam of Savelugu. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Can we welcome with a round of applause? Thank you so much. Malam, Bismillah.
Tilugu tiyan nung shal nyala be tiyan yel shal nyala zahayal ma alhamdulillah tilan yal ma alhamdulillah tilan yal ma alhamdulillah rabbil alamin pagar selden pagaran tumana wonoma na woni nya na songonda nan iko katara kana ta pilge ji wani ayan pilge tunum no anda kana ta jin tango nte pa pamba wato on kuto bol biya ka ta pilgale ni bismillah ni na wun yule to kan duma na wun ma ko nan iko kan nan rahma hali ka ta patum pashin ma ka tinyala tangban sugla manga wonan kana noti in yule to so ta pardon duma na wun da so won ci ta lala tin wama na wun ce ka ta jira dan fani ka ta bi jira dan fani ka ta yansa jira dan fani ka gane zaha jira dan fani annabi yulam da albarka ka ta lan zusun gol shel pun tun yor wama annabi muhammadu sallallahu alaihi wasallam wadu am punu gol mbalama to zusun da talin yale te pardon duma na won pin shanga won titma bismillahir rahmanir rahim alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin arrahmanir rahim maliki yawmiddin iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم يا مهي رفاتي ويا دافع الآفات ويا واكي المهافات ويا كريم المكافات ويا موئل الأفات ويا ولي عفو والمؤافات صل على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم هاتم أنبيائك ومبلغ أنبائك وعلى مصابي أسرته ومفاتيح نصرته وأعذنا اللهم من نزغات الشياطين ونزوات السلاطين وإعانات الباجين ومعاناة التاجين ومعاداة الآدين وعدوان المعادين وغلب الغالبين وصلب السالبين وهيل المهتالين وغيل المقتالين وعشرنا اللهم من جور المجاورين ومجاورة الجائرين وستوة الجبارين وكف عنا أكف الدائمين وأرجنا من ظلمات الظالمين وأرجنا من ظلمات الظالمين وأرجنا من ظلمات الظالمين وأدخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والهاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومن قدره العظيم آمين.
So thank you so very much for the opening prayer. We are in the Savelugu area, and the Savelugu area traditionally is governed by the Yona. The Yona, His Royal Highness Abdullah Yakubu, will now give us the welcome remarks. He will be handed the microphone for him to speak from where he is seated. Thank you.
Your Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, Honorable Ministers, Honorable MMDCs, Honorable MPs present here, my good brother, Paramount Chief of Bupe, Abdullah Jinapur II, Ambassador Sandana is here, Nandama, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our media, our security, it is a great honor and pleasure for me to address you today at the commissioning ceremony of the Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited facility in Savelugu. Please join me to express my profound appreciation to His Excellency the President for coming to commission the facility. Your Excellency, I say Amaraba. For many years, the land where this beautiful edifice is situated was used for gravel winning. It later became the dumping site for waste in the Savelugu municipality. When I was enskined as the owner, I decided to restore the land to its original state and make it viable for developmental process. I recall the day when Nuruddin Mohammed of Northshore Apparel and his team came to my palace to discuss their objectives and need for land to establish this facility. What excited me most was their determination to empower young people with vocational skills through training and provision of guaranteed employment opportunities to secure their future to prosperity. I am happy to say I gave Northshore Apparel 50 acres of land, which has adequately served the intended purpose. What you see here today is the result of effective leadership and collaboration between my good self and Northshore Apparel and its partners. The facility will help reduce unemployment, migration of the youth, particularly girls, to Accra, Kumasi, and other cities to engage in kaya and other mineral works with its socio-economic challenges and consequences. The facility will empower young people with employment skills, employment opportunities, and income generation to cater for their socio-economic needs and become responsible citizens who will contribute positively towards the socio-economic development of our dear nation Ghana. I want to advise the workers to take their work seriously and become professional artisans capable of competing favorably with their colleagues elsewhere in Ghana. I wish to assure the management of Northshore Apparel of the continuous support of the chiefs and people of the youth traditional area to ensure the aims and aspirations of the founders, investors, and business partners are achieved. Your Excellency, I wish to appeal
Project. Mr. President, the project behind us is the brainchild of an individual seated to your left. I recall when we came for the launch, he looked very unassuming, but he delivered in less than 2 years excellently. At this juncture, let's invite the man who is running Northshore Apparel as the CEO, Alhaji Nuruddin Mohammed. Let's give him a round of applause.
All praise is due to Almighty God. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany, Board and Management of Ghana Exim Bank, CEOs, Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, colleagues of North Shore, our revered chiefs, sorry, I skipped that one, our revered chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, it is a rare privilege to stand this afternoon and to speak not about a promise of job, but inside a facility already full of them. I thank His Excellency. I thank His Excellency, the President, for gracing this ceremony and for your vision of a 24-hour economy that insists our young people deserve dignified, skilled, and productive work. I stand here on behalf of a collective. Nothing about this place was the work of a single person. It was shaped by a board, by friends who held their nerve, by financiers who took a view on the north when the easier decision lay elsewhere, by development partners who stayed through the difficult months, by traditional authorities who gave us land and their blessing, and by the thousands of colleagues who learned a trade from the ground up. Whatever is said in praise of North Shore today belongs to them. I'm simply the one holding the microphone today. Many years ago, I worked as a top executive in an apparel company located in the heart of Accra. I usually close late, and as I often head home after work, my heart would bleed with immense pain. Not too far from the factory, the headlight of my vehicle, like many other vehicles, often fell on naked bodies of homeless women who took their bath in the open. On the days I close very late, I will see them sleeping in the open. on concrete slabs and anything that could hold their exhausted bodies. On rainy nights, their plight was unbearable, and they will huddle together, sheltering from the rain in front of shops and buildings. Most of these women and their children hail from northern Ghana, where some of them even worked in the same factory I worked in. However, the realities of life in Accra meant their salaries couldn't secure decent accommodation or provide for their needs and savings, which sent them to Accra. These images stayed with me and tortured me for years. So when the opportunity arose to set up a business like this, I did not hesitate to locate it far from the capital city where people could work and have decent places to sleep at night. Over the years, governments have grappled with curbing urban migration, creating layers of problems for urban planners and sanitation. I believed in the saying of our elders that the best way to starve a river is to cripple its source. Situating the factory here is the surest way of crippling the supply of jobless young men and women who throng to major cities and towns for jobs that do not exist in the first place. But the decision to put this factory here did not come without challenges. First, some people believed that putting the factory here meant it was too far from the port. Economically, that doesn't make sense. And for an export-driven business, that would not make sense for an export-driven business. I will address that shortly. But the most painful resistance from some potential helpers was their concern about the risks of doing business in this part of the country. Some pointed to the incidence of violence here and said it will take a minor misunderstanding of some people to set the factory on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that we are here today means that our team did not yield. But that is only one part of the job. The second part is to stay faithful to Northshore vision and make our funders and stakeholders trust worthwhile. And by doing so, we will attract many huge industries to this part of the country, and our hardworking people would get jobs and live in dignified conditions. Your Excellency, before I speak of lines and lead times, permit me to speak about this ground, as Chief already mentioned. Not long ago, the earth beneath our feet was an abandoned laterite pit, and that had been turned into a refuse dump. It was where this town sent that it no longer wanted. Today, it is a harbor of hope. What was once receive our waste now produces goods worn in New York and Frankfurt. What was called trouble is now called talent, and it clocks in every morning at 7. That is not merely a construction story. It is the whole argument of this company in every square meter of ground. We believe that nothing and no one is beyond redemption. Not a piece of land, not a region, not a young person whom the world has already written off. If a pit can become a factory, then a boy loitering by the roadside can become a machinist, a supervisor, and a plant manager. Our logo, we have seen it happen here on this side in under 2 years. Our logo conveys the same message: 3 baobabs beneath a rising sun, representing people, planet, prosperity, sheltering under one canopy. The baobab is a tree that survives the hardest season and gives shade to many, asking nothing of them. And the sign behind it is not certain. It is Northern Dawn. Your Excellency, Other questions the wisdom of situating an export-driven factory so far from the port. The answer is that this location is not a concession to sentiment. It is a competitive advantage. From this gate, Tema Port is 620 kilometers away. Compare that with the platforms we compete against. Hawassa Industrial Park in Ethiopia, which houses more than 20 apparel factories, is 906 kilometers from the port of Djibouti. Similarly, Bole Industrial Park in the same Ethiopia is 774 kilometers from Djibouti. Rwanda Industry, one of the biggest in Africa, sits some 1,479 kilometers from Dar es Salaam and 1,510 kilometers from Port Mombasa, Kenya, where it ships its products. Lesotho is 813 kilometers from Port Elizabeth in South Africa. And with the right road network, transporting our output to Tema should not become an economic setback, again setting up here. Your Excellency, Lesotho is routinely ranked the third largest apparel exporter in Africa, and Ethiopia is the fourth. They achieved that while siting farther from the seaport than we are. Your Excellency, if they can build industries of that scale against that geography, then the question before Ghana is not whether it can be done. It is why we have waited so long to do it. Add to that what surrounds us. We sit at the doorstep of West African Cotton Belt. Burkina Faso, Mali, Benin, Niger, Togo, Northern Ghana itself, which makes backwards integration a matter of geography rather than ambition. We sit in the epicenter of labor, where hardworking young people have long waited for this opportunity. And through the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, the Free Zones Regime, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, and the Economic Partnership Agreement, garments leaving this floor reach United States, the European Union, and other African markets without tariffs. So let me put it plainly to the buyers in this room, and to those watching, To those watching from abroad, we do not sell apparel. We sell time. The product is a lead time. A brand that can reorder in weeks rather than months, carries less in inventory, marks down less stock, and answers its customers faster. Every hour we save between this floor and open water is an hour we hand back to our buyer. That is the business we are in. Your Excellency, I want to be precise about what we are opening today, because precision builds trust. Northshore is a three-phase development. Phase 1 is a garment manufacturing facility. Phase 2 doubles sewing capacity to 200 sewing lines, add 2 sewing production facilities, a cotton facility, and additional 1.5 megawatts of solar with battery storage. Phase 3 takes us into a fabric mill along with a cotton outgrower scheme across this sub-region. So Ghanaian cotton eventually leaves this country as finished garment rather than a raw bale. Today, we commissioned Lot 1 of Phase 1. It comprises 50 sewing lines across 40,000 square meters on a 50-acre campus. It comprises 50 sewing lines across 40,000 square meters on a 50-acre campus. A cutting and design facility of 4,000 square meters, 2 warehouses of 4,000 square meters each, a dining facility of 1,500 square meters, an administration block, offices, locker rooms, 500 kilowatt peak of installed solar power, an anaerobic baffled biodigester, 600,000 liters of underground water reservoir with mechanized boreholes, an on-site clinic, crèche, and a safe place of worship for our workers while they are at work. we have trained and deployed over 2,300 operators. Every one of those elements earns its keeps. The racking at the raw material warehouse lets us hold inventory equivalent to 250 40-footer containers and turn an order around quickly. The solar plant and the biodigester let us truthfully tell a buyer this is a carbon neutral operation by design. More importantly, the biodigester let us use our water twice, and the dining facility means a worker eats properly on site rather than losing an hour and a wage to find a meal. None of these is ornamental. Each one removes friction from the very thing we are selling, time. Your Excellency, permit me a word on 3 facilities that visitors sometimes mistake for generosity. The clinic, the crèche, and the mosques are not pecs. They are an economic imperative, and I will defend them on the balance sheet before I defend them on sentiment. By delivering basic primary care, first aid, maternity services directly to workers, the clinic reduces avoidable 6 days, support healthy pregnancies, and enable employees with disabilities to access timely care. It frees caregivers and nursing mothers from time-consuming off-site appointment, cutting directly into the hidden time tax of caregiving, a tax that in this country is paid almost entirely by women. A mother who can feed her child 2 doors from her machine is a mother who stays in formal employment. Her daughter grows up watching a woman who earns, a worker who can pray in a proper designated space and within a control hour stays on the line. That is the whole argument. It is an argument about productivity every bit as much as it is about decency. Your Excellency, Northshore is home to thriving community of deaf colleagues whose skills and productivities are integral to our output. Their presence is not a gesture. It is proof that an inclusive workforce is a capable, competitive workforce. We are collaborating with the School for the Deaf in this area and have already engaged 40 people with hearing impairment. We will deliberately expand this and ensure that persons with disability work and earn decent living instead of begging in the streets. Ladies and gentlemen, this facility is open to all Ghanaians. We have expatriate workers working here. However, like football team, it calls support base and beneficiaries are the people closest to it. In a region too often defined by what it lacks, Northshore is rewriting the story. Across northern Ghana, the most durable answer to insecurity has never been the silence of a rifle. It is the steady hem of a sewing line. It is the pay slip a young man or a woman takes home to her family. It is in the supply networks, the skills transfer, the export receipts, and the local supply chain that quietly knit a region into a global economy. Northshore was built on a simple thesis. Dignified West is the most reliable peace builder. Economic transformation is national security policy by another name. A young man whose time is measured in cities will not have enough space to spare for those who foment trouble. This factory is not mine. It is ours. I'm only one out of the 2,300 employees, which means that if I'm absent, the factory can function. But if you are absent, it will shut down. Own it, protect it, and prove to other investors that it works, that it pays to set up here. Your Excellency, we have done the heavy lifting. The promoters carried this project through cost overruns and delays and kept it moving. The building behind me is finished, certified and staffed. We are not for an exhibition. We are here to do business and make difference. But we cannot do it without the state support. We already have global chains like Pick n Pay from South Africa, which has committed over 1 million orders to this factory, and vendors carrying labels such as Walmart, TJ Maxx, DKNY, American Racks, and other brands finalizing supply contracts with us. They have seen our samples and are satisfied that we meet their global standards. Our first export containers are due in October. This means that the market back home can trust us to deliver those same quality standards. Your Excellency, we recognize that the biggest market back home is the government. Our security services are clothed, our school children are clothed, our health workers are clothed. Much of that cloth is presently made outside this country and paid for in foreign currency. We are not asking for protection or preferential treatment. We request that a share of the national uniform wallet be considered for facilities such as this one. We will guarantee competitive pricing, quality, and delivery measures against any competitor worldwide. We pray you give us specifications, the volumes, we will meet them here with Ghanaian hands in Ghanaian cities in a district that needs the work. Every uniform stitched in Savelugu instead of abroad is foreign exchange retained and a wage paid to one of our own and a tax contribution to the state. An order book at home is what steadies a factory while the export book grows. Your Excellency, our second prayer, let me arrive at it honestly. Last year, when we opened our gates and invited applications, more than 20,000 young people came forward. We had planned to select a few hundred for pre-high training. But as we screened applicants after Africans, a harder truth confronted us. Almost none of those who showed up willing, eager, possessed the basic skills an apparel and operator needs on the floor of an export apparel facility. That was the day we understood that our youth are not merely unemployed, they are unemployable. And through no fault of their own, with GETSIM's support, a visit that was occasioned by Honorable Sylvester Menta and Dr. Doe, board chair, we scaled up. They saw the numbers and advised that how are these people, what are they doing here? I explained, and they told me that how is the training funded? I explained to the two of them, and with their help, GETSIM was able to support us to scale up the pre-high training facility, which opened the door to our partners with Youth Employment Agency, Chief Malik Basental Mpuya, and the National Youth Authority. The result stands before you today. 2,000 beneficiaries trained from nothing in basic skills, every one of them now in permanent employment. Your Excellency, 20,000 came to our gates. We have so far been able to say yes to 2,000. The other 18,000 are still waiting and they are still willing. We therefore pray for continued and expanded training support so that we may widen this intake, train more, employ more, because we now know from evidence on our floor that the distance between an unemployable young person and a taxing professional is not a generation. It is a training bench and about 12 weeks. I would be ungrateful if I conclude this speech without expressing my sincere and utmost gratitude to our engineers, our architect, Rajiv, Engineer Prosper and the team, our contractors, artisans, supervisors, and staff. You worked through the rains. You worked when the site was ankle deep in mud, Engineer Rashid, Adam, and Engineer Philip, and the schedule was unforgiving. You worked to a standard that a buyer in South Africa and London will audit without ever knowing your names. We know your names. Long after today's speeches are forgotten, this building will still be standing, and it will be your work that is standing. Our deep gratitude also goes to Ghana Exim Bank, Mr. Sylvester Mensah, Dr. Do, and the team. We are grateful. To the Ministry of Trade, Investing for Employment Facility of KfW Development Bank, on behalf of the German Federal Ministry of Cooperation, the GIZ, we thank you. Your Excellency, Nandi Soho, Tapaya.
I expect a more resounding round of applause for Mr. Nuruddin Mohammed, CEO, Northshore Apparel, the brain behind all of this. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, with your permission, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of some of our revered traditional rulers who are here with us. In no particular order, we have with us the Paramount Chief of the Savelugu traditional area, His Royal Highness Abdullah Yakubu the Yona. Let's acknowledge him with a round of applause. We have also been joined by the Paramount Chief of the Sanergo traditional area, His Royal Highness Ambassador Abdullah Yakubu. He's here with us. Let's acknowledge him with a round of applause. We've also been joined by the Soglana Professor Al-Hassan Abubakari Natoma. He's here with us. Let's acknowledge him also with a round of applause. And finally, we have been joined by the Bupeura Abdullah Mahama Jinapur II. He is the Vice President of the National House of Chiefs. Your Excellency, some of your appointees have also come to support you in this venture. And in no particular order, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Minister, the Honorable Minister for Education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, who is also MP for Tamale South. He's there with us. His Excellency, Frederick Landshoft, the German Ambassador to Ghana, is here with us to support this event. Let's give him a round of applause. The Sector Minister, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ejare, is here with us. Of course, Honorable Guzi Tano, who is the coordinator of the 24-hour economy policy, is here with us as well. Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Al-Hassan Suhini, who is the Deputy Minister in charge of roads and highways and also MP for Tamale North, is here with us. Let's acknowledge him. We have the CEO of the YEA, Mr. Malik Basintali, here with us. Let's acknowledge him with a round of applause. And we have the CEO of the Student Loan Trust Fund, Dr. Sajida Shiraj, here with us. Thank you very much. We have the MD of the State Housing Company, John Sharif Bawa, here with us as well. The CEO of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Mensah, is here with us. The Deputy Chief of Staff, Honorable Stan Dogbe, has been very instrumental in putting this together. Let's acknowledge him with a round of applause. And I'll pause here with the acknowledgements. As time goes on, we'll acknowledge MMDCEs who are here with us, as well as other CEOs and other dignitaries who have joined us here. But I have the honor now of inviting the CEO of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Mensah, to deliver a very brief remarks. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Yona, His Royal Highness, and all our royal chiefs present here, the Honorable Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Honorable Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellency, the German Ambassador, esteemed partners from KfW Development Bank and the Investing for Employment Facility, distinguished rulers, the board chairman, board members, management, and staff of Ghana Exim Bank, the promoter, management and staff of Northshore Apparel, managing directors and chief executives of commercial banks present, development partners, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, and I also recognize the presence of the country director of GIZ. I recognize the presence of Honorable Austin Game, a labor consultant, former member of parliament. I recognize the presence of Senior Comrade Guzi Tano and many more. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 10 years ago, under the distinguished and transformational leadership of our visionary president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Ghana Exim Bank was established as the foremost policy and development bank, among others, to accelerate the growth of Ghanaian exports and further generate foreign exchange. Financing agribusiness and job creation have been an integral of this vision. Your Excellency, on the occasion of the 10th anniversary this year, the board and management commend you for your foresight and your inspiring and visionary leadership in birthing the Ghana Exim Bank. On behalf of the board, management, and staff, I'm delighted to be at the commissioning of this important industrial facility. What we see today is a realization of a vision for a Ghana that produces, that exports, and creates opportunities for its own people. It marks the opening of a new chapter of opportunity for Northern Ghana and Ghanaians. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the flame of President Mahama's reset agenda continues to glow. Your Excellency, Gesmin's partnership with Northshore Apparel is a cornerstone of our 5-year strategic plan, a plan which prioritizes strategic investment in garments and apparel manufacturing as a key driver of economic transformation. Through a blended finance model that combines Exim support, the IFE facility of KfW Development Bank of Germany, and the equity of the project promoters, we have mobilized mission-aligned capital to accelerate industrial transformation and export competitiveness. In March this year, we formalized our commitment through a memorandum of understanding with Northshore Apparel to expand domestic garment production, create sustainable employment opportunities, and strengthen Ghana's position in the global apparel market. This facility stands as a tangible demonstration of that commitment. The Ghana Export-Import Bank is therefore proud to have worked alongside KfW's Investing for Power facility, Investing for Employment facility, to provide the funding that enabled Northshore Ghana Limited to establish and operationalize this factory. Our in the United before the first seam was sown, the market has already chosen to believe in this factory. We in Exim simply had the good sense to believe in it first, after we have seen the first seed sown by KfW. By locating this facility in Savelugu, the promoters have brought opportunity to the people. They have demonstrated confidence in the skills, energies, and potential of the people of the northern region. As the factory grows, it will create direct employment on the production floor and generate additional opportunities in transportation, food services and other vendors, accommodation, maintenance, packaging, logistics, and other supporting activities. The wages earned here will support households. They would help educate children, improve access to health care, and strengthen local business. In this way, the factory's economic value will extend far beyond its walls. Your Excellency, the numbers before us are staggering. This facility, Mr. Chairman, as has been said by the promoter, particularly has 500 kilowatt power solar energy and many more. Every young person trained and employed here represents a life-giving, a new stream of life and new direction. The worker earns income, supports a family, and contributes to the local economy. The worker also pays taxes, contributes to social security, and helps produce garments that can earn foreign exchange for Ghana. Your Excellency, the Northshore Apparel Hub is proof that wholly Ghanaian-owned businesses can undertake large-scale industrial projects capable of competing on the global stage. Through the African Growth and Opportunities Act and other trade arrangements, this facility will export Ghana-made apparel far beyond our borders. This is more than a factory, it is a powerful statement of what Ghana can achieve when local capital is invested in local enterprise. Mr. Chairman, before I conclude, Ghana Exim Bank has reset and redefined its lending scope, consistent with the President's vision. It does not lend based on sentiments. Behind every facility we extend is placing scarce resources where their impact can be significant. The Northshore Apparel came in like many others, but few make arguments as compelling as this one. We are proud to have seen the light, we are proud to have supported them, and we're encouraged by what we see. Mr. Chairman, I end here. Thank you very much.
Before Umar Rusanda comes in with the next introduction of dignitaries, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Victor Eastmond, Deputy CEO, Finance and Administration, Exim Bank Ghana, Mr. Moses Klumensa, Deputy CEO, Banking, Exim Bank Ghana, His Excellency Mohammed Mumuni, Member of the Council of State, Dr. Bawa Abdullahi, is the CEO of Tamale Teaching Hospital, and the Nairi of the Mamprugu Traditional Area has sent a representative. The leadership of Ambaria community are also here well represented. Thank you so much, Mama. I want to just make a few more acknowledgements. The board chair of the Ghana Exim Bank is here in our midst, Dr. Joseph Nyakute Do. Thank you so much. Moses Klu Mensah is deputy CEO of Exim Bank in charge of finance. Thank you so much. We also have in our midst, Mr. President, your representatives in some of the local assembly areas here, the municipal, metropolitan, and district chief executives for Tamale, Honorable Abu Takoro. The one for Sanarigo, Abdullah Gong, is in our midst. Sugri Muniru is the MCE for Yendi. Honorable George Tari is Zabzugu DCE. Abdul Rashid Musa is a Wulensi DCE. Abdul Hafiz Adam is from Gushau representing the President. Hussein Al Hassan is a Savelugu MCE, our landlord here. Haruna Karim is from Pandai. Thank you so much. And Honorable Rosina from Nantong, also the District Chief Executive. Most grateful. We also have members of Parliament from Tamale representing or being here in our midst. Professor Alidu Seidu is a Tamale Central Member of Parliament. Thank you, Honorable. The MP for Sanarigo is Honorable Atta Isa. We are grateful that you joined us. Honorable Misbah Mahama Adams, MP for Myong, is here. Honorable Bawa Alasan is the CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. We are grateful, as well as the GES Director for the Savelugu area. We have the regional head of the Ghana Immigration Service and the Customs Office, or the Ghana Revenue Authority. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon for this very brilliant and wonderful launch. Now, this program was supported by a number of very, very important companies, organizations, and institutions. We have a very good chunk of them from Germany representing and supporting Northshore Apparel. And we have, in fact, our ambassador. I was privileged to be on the flight with him this morning, who is joining us. Let's welcome with a round of applause, please. His Excellency, the German Ambassador to Ghana.
Your Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, Mr. Nuruddin Mohammed, Your Royal Highness Yuna, Honourable Minister Elizabeth Ofosu Ajara, Honourable Minister Haruna Idrisu, Honourable Ministers, Deputy Ministers, State Ministers, Mr. Honourable Sylvester Adinam Mensah, Honourable Augustus Guzi Tano, revered traditional leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Next year, we will mark a special anniversary for both our countries. Ghana will celebrate 70 remarkable years of independence, and Ghana and Germany will celebrate 70 years of diplomatic relations. 7 decades in which our relationship has grown into a close partnership, including in the areas that bring us together today: economic development, investment, and jobs. Yet, our shared history did not begin in 1957. Germany was once a colonial power in territories that today form part of Ghana. Mr. President, when we last shared a stage at the Next Steps Conference on Reparatory Justice in June, we reflected on the consequences of that history and on our responsibility to build a more equitable future. One part of that history is economic. Colonial economies were designed around the extraction and export of resources, raw materials traveled abroad, industrial value was created elsewhere. and some of these economic structures proved remarkably resistant long after independence. This history helps explain the significance of Ghana's ambition for industrialization today. Are made, businesses grow, and where young people find opportunities to build their future. Mr. President, you have set out an ambitious course for Ghana's industrial transformation through the 24-hour economy and beyond. Only last week, Guzi and I spoke about how Germany can work with Ghana on this ambition. And today, here in Savelugu, we can see what such cooperation can look like. Ghanaian entrepreneurs have built an industrial facility designed to produce millions of garments for Ghana, Africa, and the world. And as an ambassador, usually confined to a suit and a tie, I'm already looking forward to buying my first Northshore kaftan back in Germany. But their ambition reaches further, towards a more integrated value chain in which cotton can be grown, processed and transformed into garments here in Ghana. A value chain that keeps more value here and creates more skilled businesses and opportunities here. And Germany is proud to contribute to investing for employment implemented by KfW. We provided 2.5 million euros towards an investment of more than 10 million. To German financial cooperation, thank you. We strengthen Northshore's operations and support further expansion. With international buyers. When our cooperation began, Northshore aimed to create 1,600 decent jobs. Today, ahead of schedule, around 2,000 jobs have already been created, and I think that it deserves a round of applause. Young women and men are learning a skill, families are gaining an income, people in northern Ghana are finding new possibilities closer to home. And those possibilities are also becoming more inclusive. Deaf women and men are being trained to operate factory equipment. Supervisors are learning Ghanaian Sign Language. And walking through this factory, we see colleagues communicating across the production floor with their hands, their eyes, their skills. Only few images could express more clearly how industrialization can widen opportunity. Mr. President, you have repeatedly called for a new kind of economic relationship between Ghana and Europe, a relationship beyond aid, increasingly driven by trade, investment, industrialization, and shared prosperity. And what we see here today speaks directly to that ambition. Germany's engagement in Northshore brings together investment, skills, industrial capacity, and access to markets. It creates economic opportunities together and builds economic relationships that serve our mutual interests. We can already see where this leads. The German Otto Group has expressed interest in garments produced here, and I was pleased to learn that Mr. Mohammed will travel to Germany for talks with Otto Group in the next week. In November, business leaders from Germany and across Africa will gather in Ghana for the German African Business Summit. And I hope Northshore will be part of the story we tell them. A Ghanaian company producing in northern Ghana, creating jobs here and competing for customers around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a Ghanaian proverb. Knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one can embrace it alone. I quote this not only because the baobab happens to be my favorite tree, but because there is a thought in it that reaches beyond knowledge. What is taking root here in Savelugu is the work of many hands. And as Ghana and Germany approach 70 years of partnership, may we continue in that spirit. Mr. President, Mr. Mohammed, congratulations on this remarkable achievement. And to the women and men of Northshore Apparel, I wish you every success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Frederick Landshoft. We are grateful. There is a very short video to demonstrate the impact the Northshore Apparel Company has made in the lives of the thousands that it has employed and within the community that it has been established. Let's turn our attention to the large screens that have been provided for this short video. Thank you.
Refuse to refuge. This is the Northshore story. This is Northshore Apparel Limited, a factory built on reclaimed land, creating a new future in northern Ghana.
I am standing here in place of the paramount chief of Savelugu traditional area. The whole place was a refuse dump. All refuse were being dumped here. Refuse from Savelugu hospital, from Savelugu town, were being dumped here.
The transformation of Northshore Apparel Limited began when someone looked at a dumping ground and saw an international business hub that can employ over 3,000 workers.
Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited is the first purpose-built apparel manufacturing facility in northern Ghana since independence, and it is equally the first purpose-built apparel manufacturing facility in Ghana.
Every morning, these gates open to parents, providers, dreamers, and thousands of people whose lives are connected.
My name is Fauzia. I'm from Pontamale. And some years back, I went to Accra for Kayayu, and things were not easy for me. When I came back home, I saw that they were building here, so I came inside and asked. They said, oh, they are picking people. I came, they picked me through training, and now, believe me, I can sew a full dress.
At Northshore, we asked a different question. What can this person become when given an opportunity?
My name is Idrisu Nashiru. Northshore love people with disability, and they give us some benefits that we get here to feed ourselves and the family.
In Northshore, if you have a child, don't have any problem at all, because there's a place for the children. Then you bring your child to the place they take care of the kids. They have people that take care of the children. Then you go to your workplace, you leave her food. If she's hungry, they feed her. Unless, of course, she needs a breakfast, then you have to come and feed her.
While one generation works, another is being protected.
We have a clinic in Northshore.
The clinic provides good health care for all my family. Visions of this scale cannot rise on courage alone. They require capital and an institution willing to believe before success becomes visible.
We are looking at a development bank, as Exim Bank is, whose performance is not measured largely by profits, but by impact on the environment. And the returns on this investment can be measured largely by an individual multiplied by the 1,000, the 2,000, the 3,000 employed, who is earning income, who is paying income tax, and who is contributing to social security, and who at the same time is helping to generate significant foreign exchange. We are hoping that after the first and second year of this first phase, we'll plunge into the second phase that will require significant investment to reach the, as it were, maximum employment level in excess of 10,000 people.
And we also have a 4,000 square meter export processing facility, which has needle detection machines and all the EQL testing, just to make sure that what you ordered is what you receive.
To my colleague ladies in town, please, if you want, stop going to Kayayu and come for Northshore.
I would want to pay tribute to KFW, who, as it were, pioneered this initiative. The German ambassador is here today, and we want to say that these have been worthy partners in bringing this to fruition.
Today, Northshore Apparel Limited manufactures outfits for corporate organizations like the Ghana Police and Immigration. On the international front, Northshore manufactures for top brands like DKNY, Calvin Klein, and exports across the world. This ground once carried refuse. Today, it is a proud enabler of President John Dramani Mahama's 24-hour economy, where as many as 10,000 Ghanaians would be employed.
Thank you very much. And for those who are yet to be introduced, we will do so at the tail end of the program. We'll ensure that we acknowledge everybody's presence. But this is a free zones company, and so it's supported heavily by free zones, and we have the Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Musa Sibiri Hamidu, right here with us as well. Thank you very much. And as I mentioned, we will acknowledge the presence of everyone here at the tail end of the program, particularly the presence of the MP for Kumungu, Professor Hamza, and the MP for Savelugu, Honorable Fatahia. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we will turn our attention to the man who coordinates all activities under the 24-hour economy policy, Honorable Guzi Tano. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you.
Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Ministers and Honorable Members of Parliament, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Export-Import Bank, Honorable Sylvester Mensah, the Board, Management and Workers of Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited, the Paramount Chief of Savelugu Traditional Area, Yona Abdullahi Yakubu Andani, the Nalima of the Savelugu Traditional Area, representatives of the Northern Regional Coordinating Council and Savelugu Municipal Council, GIZ, His Excellency the German Ambassador to Ghana, members of the business and investment community, media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, has made the even development of all of Ghana a central commitment of his administration. Today, in fulfillment of that commitment, we commissioned an export garment factory in Savelugu, financed by the Ghana Export-Import Bank, with support from the German government, the German government's Investing for Employment facility. At full capacity, Northshore Apparel expects to employ about 10,000 people directly. Among them will be persons with disabilities. This particular inclusion of differently able persons in the workforce of Northshore Apparel is eminently commendable and a shining example for Ghana, corporate Ghana to follow. Additionally, the company has built a clinic and a creche alongside its production lines. This is also exemplary. Northshore is in the process of moving from a 2-shift to a 3-shift working system, tangibly actualizing the 24-hour economy, not in words, but in deeds. Ladies and gentlemen, for most part of our economic history, industry has concentrated in the south of this country. Our roads, our ports, and our logistics systems were laid out to move raw commodities from the forest and mining belt in the southern half of the country to the coast for export. This factory, Northshore, demonstrates that export manufacturing can succeed in Savelugu, and that the young people of this region can find productive work at home and that value can be and will be reproduced from every corner of Ghana under the 24-hour economy program and President John Mahama's reset agenda. Your Excellency, the 24-hour Economy and Accelerated Development Secretariat exists to change the structure of this economy by moving Ghana from the export of raw materials to the manufacture of finished goods for our own market and for the markets after ECOWAS and beyond. The 24-hour program is determined to increase, in collaboration with other government actors, the proportion of manufacturing in our national output from 10% to 20% over the next few years, ensuring that the speed and depth of job creation will lead to a situation where the unemployment rate will fall below 5% by 2034. These targets will be met in factories such as Northshore Apparel and many others to follow under the 24-hour economy program, Feed Ghana, and the Big Push. Textiles and garments are among the value chains the 24-hour economy program has prioritized. The sector is labor intensive and it employs young people and women in large numbers. Ghana is well suited to explore the full value chain of the textile and apparel industry. Cotton grows in the north of our country and very extensively in the ECOWAS sub-region. The task is to connect farmers in Ghana and the sub-region to ginneries, fabric processors, sewing lines, logistical providers, and exporters into one competitive system so that garments made in Savelugu are sold in Accra, in Abidjan, in Lagos, and the wider aftermarket, and the markets afforded by Ghana's preferential trade agreements with the EU, the UK, and now China. We may also dare to dream that the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which provides preferential trade access to the large US market, will be renewed beyond its current term, providing another important avenue of market access to Northshore Apparel and many others as well. An anchor investment, such as the one demonstrated by Northshore Apparel, changes the economics of the area around it. Firstly, it creates demand for power, water, roads, and warehousing, and gives government a clear economic justification for providing the requisite set of needed infrastructure. Secondly, it creates demand for skills and gives our training institutions a real industrial client to serve. Thirdly, it creates a market for local suppliers, from cotton and packaging to catering and transport. And fourthly, it gives young people a reason to build their working lives here, rather than migrating south or to Europe in search of work, often traversing across the scorching Sahara and the wide expanse of the Mediterranean Sea, more often than not with tragic consequences. It also provides an avenue of migration from southern Ghana to the north in search of dignified work and decent work. The success of this factory will be measured in the number of young people employed, women earning stable incomes, local businesses willing to supply contracts, and farmers selling into a reliable market. The next step after Northshore factory is a cluster of garment producers around it. After the cluster, an industrial park. After the park, a veritable production corridor of light industry, anchored around Northshore Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, each step of that sequence has begun. This factory is the anchor of the planned 24-hour Northshore Light Industrial Park, a garments and agro-processing park in the Savelugu enclave that the 24-hour Economy Secretariat is preparing in partnership with the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund and the promoters of Northshore, and hopefully Ghana Exim will join us in this effort. At Tamale International Airport, the 24-hour Economy Secretariat and the Ghana Airports Company have jointly demarcated about 150 acres for an air cargo hub so that vegetables, fruits, and other high-value exports from the north can fly directly to international markets. At Guipe, we are building for the Volta Economic Corridor a 1.5 gigawatt solar plant to provide energy at a very affordable rate to the Volta Economic Corridor, which includes this part of the country as well, being close to the white and black Volta. And at Singa and Daboya, along the white Volta, land assembly under the 24-hour Economy Participatory Land Access Model is also underway for an agricultural corridor of about 120,000 hectares. This corridor will support the commercial scale cultivation of vegetables, cereals, oilseeds, cut flowers, and a $270 million integrated poultry industry, which we signed off yesterday, together with Ghana Exim Bank, Agrium Capital, Petra, and Axis Pension Funds. And this is part of the 24-hour transformation program that begins to see development in the central and northern part of Ghana. Farms at Singa, factories at Savelugu and Daboya, and export logistics at Tamale, energy at Wipe. These are not separate initiatives. They are part of a single production system. The economic corridor, the 24-hour economy program, is building to integrate and unify our national economy into one ecosystem to drive productivity, enhance production, create jobs, and deliver inclusive growth. We congratulate Mr. Nuruddin Mohammed, the board, management, and workers of Northshore Apparel. Building an export factory in Savelugu requires capital, patience, and confidence in the vast potential of northern Ghana, and you have shown all three. We thank the Ghana Export-Import Bank and Investing for Employment, a facility under the German KfW Development Bank, managed by GIZ, whose financing has made this investment possible. Much thanks and appreciation go to GIZ, the International Labour Organization, the Youth Employment Agency, the National Youth Authority, and the Ghana Free Zones for the support they have given to Northshore Apparel. We also acknowledge the Development Bank of Ghana, which is working with the 24-hour Economy Secretariat and its banking partners to secure additional financing to support the continued growth of this remarkable Northshore project. Equal commendation must go to the traditional authorities, Yona, Abdullahi, Yakubu, and Dani, the Savelugu Municipal Assembly, and the Northern Regional Coordinating Council for their support in making Nuruddin's dream come alive. To investors considering Northern Ghana, the 24-hour Economy Secretary will work with you on land, energy, logistics, skills, and finance so that productive investment succeeds here. We at the 24-hour Economy Secretariat are confident that the Northshore Apparel, as an integral anchor in Northshore Light Industrial Park, will grow and be an example that draws further manufacturing and investment in the central and northern half of our dear country, and that the young people in these areas will build their futures around the economic opportunities that will be created over the next few years. I will be remiss, Your Excellency, if I fail to thank Yona, Abdullahi, Yakubu, and Dani for granting the 24-hour office 1,000 acres of land proximate to Northshore Apparel, on which the Northshore Light Industrial Park will be located. Thank you. Much gratitude to Yona and the people of Savelugu. Finally, the Northshore example demonstrates vividly what President Mahama's reset agenda is about. Private capital, enabled by government policy to implement Ghana's transformation agenda through investment, real capital formation, job creation, and inclusive economic growth. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Guzitano, the coordinator of the 24-hour Secretariat. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Let's talk now and hear from the minister in charge of this particular sector. Trade and agribusiness put together builds the economy. From Techima North, as Member of Parliament, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare. Let's welcome her with a round of applause, please. He's not gentle like this, he's pretending.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Visionary President of the Republic of Ghana, colleague ministers and members of Parliament herein present, His Excellency, the German Ambassador to Ghana, Municipal Chief Executive for Savelugu, Iona, and members of the Savelugu Traditional Council, Buperua, His Royal Majesty Abdullahi Jenapo, the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Export-Import Bank, representative of KFW Development Bank, the founder and chief executive officer of Northshore Apparel Ghana Limited, captains of industry, development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, Honorable Gusitando, management and staff of Northshore Apparel, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm happy to join the chiefs and people of Savelugu for this truly historic occasion. It is indeed an honor to stand before you today as we commission this Northshore Apparel Hub here in Savelugu. I must say that this facility does not just represent an investment in bricks, machinery and trade, but an investment by one of your own who is showing the light on the northern region as an investment destination. Ladies and gentlemen, this multi-million euro facility is one of the largest indigenous Ghanaian-owned apparel manufacturing hubs anywhere in West Africa. It has been made possible through a deliberate blend of financing, investment from the Ghana Export-Import Bank, private equity from the project Ghanaian promoters, and support channeled through KFW Development Bank's Investing for Employment facility on behalf of the government of the Federal Republic of Germany. This has been designed specifically to back enterprises that create decent jobs at scale. I'm happy to note that this factory did not rise in Accra or in Tema or along our familiar industrial corridor. Rather, it rose here in Savelugu. This is keeping with His Excellency the President's conviction that industrialization must reach every part of Ghana and that no region should be left to watch prosperity pass it by. This eco-friendly facility has also been designed as a model for future of manufacturing itself. As has been indicated already, powered in part by renewable energy, built around zero waste production processes, and anchored in fair labor practices. My best part of this factory is the crèche. This is what we mean when we speak of a regenerative apparel hub, one that produces competitively for local and international markets while respecting the workers and the environment in which they work. A factory global sourcing companies will be happy to source apparels from. And as you have heard already, brands are already sourcing from a factory that is yet to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, the global apparel market was valued at $557.5 billion in 2024, according to World Trade Organization figures. And it grows year on year. China remains the largest single exporter, accounting for close to 30% of world apparel exports, while Bangladesh and Vietnam together now account for roughly 13% of global trade, a clear proof that developing economies can and do capture a leading share of this industry when they organize deliberately to do so. Africa's place in that picture, however, remains far smaller than our raw material base would suggest. Our continent supplies close to 1/10 of the world's traded cotton, yet exports around 90% of that raw cotton to Asia, buying back only a small fraction of the yarn and fabric we need from within Africa itself. This is according to the International Trade Center. This is a clear sign of value leaving our shores before it is even spun into thread, let alone sewn into a garment. This is not a story unique to Ghana. It is a story of our sub-region. The raw material is here. In our own backyard, we as a country have more than 4 million hectares of northern savanna zone, much of it within which we stand remain uncultivated, even though it's suitable for cotton cultivation. Your Excellency, I'm excited to inform you that I've carried out your instruction and visited Benti Energies Limited yesterday at Zugali. They are cultivating cotton and is doing so well. It's on experimental basis. They tell me that if it goes well, next year they are cultivating over 5,000 hectares and they replicate it along the in the northern region. this is good news for North Shore and the apparel industry. Ladies and gentlemen, this progress builds on real momentum. Just last week, we launched Ghana's 2025 Annual Investment Report, showing that the country attracted $2.62 billion in new investment last year across 254 projects, with manufacturing leading by project count. This is projected to create almost 19,000 jobs. As I noted at the launch, investment only acquires its true economic meaning when it reaches the factory floor and creates opportunity for Ghanaian businesses. Northshore is that meaning made real here in Savelugu. Government therefore sees Northshore as a real partner in the development, with its decision to establish this facility up north. This will, among others, help curb the pull to the south for pasture-seeking ventures that put our young people at risk of indecent and hazardous work due to lack of opportunities here in the north. I saw the emotions with which Mr. Nuruddin recounted the reason why he put this infrastructure here. It is real, and I'm excited that this has come to bear. North Shore is proof of what is possible when a wholly Ghanaian-owned enterprise is given the confidence, the financing, and the market access to think big. Every government that leaves this facility for a customer abroad is a step towards Ghana we are building. A Ghana that produces, that adds value, and that exports with pride. For the people of Savelugu and the wider northern region, the true measure of this facility lies beyond the opportunities being created for the over 2,000 young people being trained as spray-high operators. To the young men and women who will work in this factory floor, the skills you gain here in precision, discipline, and craftsmanship will belong to you for life. You are not simply taking up employment. You are becoming part of Ghana's story of what we can build when we invest in ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to once again express an appreciation to the Ghana Export-Import Bank and its chief executive, the KfW Development Bank, and the government of the Federal Republic of Germany for their support through the Investing for Employment facility. I also want to commend the management of Northshore for their vision, their tenacity, and their confidence to invest at scale in this location. On behalf of the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, I reaffirm our commitment to walk this journey with Northshore and with every Ghanaian manufacturer who is prepared to invest, to create jobs, and to compete on this global stage. We will continue to work to improve the ease of doing business, to open export markets through our trade agreements, and to ensure that facilities like this have the support they need to grow from hundreds of jobs to thousands, and from one factory to many across every region of this country. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, the story of Northshore Apparel is the story we once told about Ghana, a story of indigenous enterprise, of deliberate investment in the north, of good jobs for our young people, and of a nation that is serious about making things and selling them to the world. I thank you for your attention, and God bless Northshore Apparel. God bless the people of Savelugu. God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that address. And since we're getting to the climax of this event, this is the right time to acknowledge some of those who helped behind the scenes to make this facility possible. The Country Director of Tony Blair Institute is here, Mr. Mensah. The Country Director of Investing for Employment, Karim Gad. The Country Director of Tony Blair Institute is here, Mr. Mensah. The Country Director of Investing for Employment, Karim Gad is here. And the Nyang Pewura of the Wasipe traditional area, Alhaji Mumuni, is also here. Thank you.
Yes, Abdullah, you know, this is an employment issue that we are trying to solve here. There's someone who has a lot of experience in employment that we have not acknowledged, and I think we should do so. He was a deputy minister. He's a labor analyst and consultant, Austin Game. Thank you so much, Efo, for joining us this morning and this afternoon. We also have to acknowledge Nayab Lanlana. We did not do that properly. So, Nayab Lanlana, we really appreciate you for your time. My personal friend and brother, Northern Regional Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, who is heading the National Lottery Authority, Salam Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you very much. And we are now getting to the climax of this event, where we'll get to hear from the man whose dream and vision has given birth to this facility, which currently employs more than 2,300 people, with the aim of ultimately employing up to 30,000 people. Before we invite him, there's somebody else who will be doing an appellation.
So, Abdul Momin, in law they call it locus. You don't have locus to invite the person. Me too, I don't have locus. But we have someone who's been properly clothed with the power to introduce the president for us this afternoon. This person has engaged in the word or the art of telling stories using words, and he has done this for more than a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Nana Asasi, the poet.
When a child is called before his elders, he dare not name names or call titles lest he misses one and be made to pay a fine. And so I greet you all, my elders. I greet you all, your royal majesties. I greet you all, my clansmen and my kinsmen, backs without which we have no front, tongues without which we have no song, fires without which we would have nothing to cook our food, boil our herbs and our bath water. It is only an urgent matter that makes the busiest men leave everything and settle at the center. But today we have found a ship that does not take sail from the waters. Today we have brought the sea all the way to the savannah, and we take off from our North Shore. It's been so many years. How many years? 60? When they thought we would go on retirement, and yet we started to show signs of youthful exuberance. Dreams are the preserve of the chosen. While all men sleep, the chosen dream. But the third one chooses to wake up and lend feet to their dreams. Our ancestors tell us we will cross 7 rivers of life. When a man has crossed 3 extra, he has reached divinity. But break it down in base 10, he has completed a full cycle. My people say, Wabedu. He is heavy, Nimwayedu. And so, today, we celebrate a man who had a dream, woke up and lent space for others to dream within the dream. For in 2016, when he, as his brainchild, decided that the Ghana Exim Bank had to be born, there was a lot of push and pull, because you see, nobody actually knows the bowl of Tubani a man eats, sleeps, wakes up and has the most ambitious dreams. But today, 10 years later, when a woman is in labor, she does not rejoice. But after she has delivered, we gather to celebrate her. And so today, we have come full cycle to celebrate a man who dared to say that we can take sail from the North Shore. Ago, ago, ago. I always say that when we gather to compare smocks, this is not a blouse. Yours had better not be more colorful than that of the master weaver. And so while I celebrate our kings, I salute His Excellency, who chooses not to wear one when we sit in gatherings like this, just so that every man will have their due. Alhaji Nuruddin, you have done what they said would be impossible. You have dreamt while another was dreaming and dared to lend feet to his dreams. Turning a refuse dump was simply turning our refusal and dumping all our ideas now into action. And so we refuse to throw refuse in this place where dreams are viable. We will not die the death of dreams, my people. And so we chose to share it in the place where everybody else thought could not happen. And so today, if President Nkrumah was here and he says, forward ever, it simply means our roof is intact. If you stand in the south and point forward ever, we go northward ever. Always. Never turning back. And he said, no apology. A good matter is short, my people. A hungry man is an angry man. An angry man has no place for sleep. An angry man has no place for ideas. An angry man can be guilty of anything before he is even accused. Ago. For a long time they pointed different fingers at us, which meant so many things I dare not utter. But today, yes, can we point it back at the face of the world and tell them, we are the North Shore. We are the roof of the center of the world. We have turned the tide, and men run from the south to find refuge up here in the savannah. Ago. My people, when a man is guilty, the clan sits with name and shame. When one is guilty, then of greatness, is it not in order that we sit, able his name, hail him, and then call him to defend himself? And so, in the beginning, we went to sleep. In the beginning, he had a dream. He is the only one who knows what he saw. And today, Ghana, Exim Bank, congratulations for the burdens of a great vision weigh the shoulders of the mind. My people, I doff my hat because it is too big for me to wear. But he whom the cap fits, let him wear it. I present to you, from the center of the world, one who has brought food in the place where there was nothing. One who has brought fresh air to the place where the whiff was so poignant we could not even stay. One who has cleared the shadows for everybody to see and called this place safe, which we, the boldest, would dare not tread even in broad day. And so, look back and look forward and tell ourselves that we will not clap our hands, but we will beat our chests, the warriors we are. We call him His Excellency Sam Nana John Savelugu Dramani Mahama. Your Excellency, when you rise, you will walk northward. May Ghana continue to progress. When you walk, you will look northward. May you receive further vision. When you walk, you will then face the rest of the world and tell them, come, there is enough room for we are that northern shore, that distance beyond that we have not reached yet, that horizon that keeps moving as we pursue it. And there is a reason why we are the center of the world. My people, your hands are yours. Let us put our hands together for one whom it is due. Your Excellency, we wait to hear from you.
Thank you. Kindly be seated. Thank you very much. Let me recognize Yona and Danny Yakubu Ablai, Paramount Chief of the Ewe traditional area on whose land we currently are. And for want of time, let me acknowledge our revered traditional rulers, including the Vice President of the House of Chiefs, Paramount Chief of Bupe Traditional Area, Ablai Junapo. Let me recognize senior government officials, our international partners, the German ambassador, captains of industry, heads of institutions, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'll proceed on the rest of the well-established protocols that were undertaken by our masters of ceremony. So let me begin by commending Alhaji Nuruddin Mohammed and his team for the courage and confidence they have displayed in establishing, not only in establishing this factory, but in establishing it in this part of Ghana, in the north of Ghana. It is deeply personal to me because I grew up in this part of Ghana. This is where I attended secondary school and spent a long time of my life. As a young man growing up, the north was an integral part of Ghana's industrial capacity. And I was closely associated with industry in the north because my father was a part of it. My father was not only among the pioneer commercial rice farmers, but he also established the first private rice processing plant in Ghana, which was located in Tamale. And they produced rice enough to feed the whole of Ghana and even export to Burkina Faso. The north was humming with industry in the 70s. Indeed, General Achampong came here and he honored the north by naming it the granary of Ghana, because the agriculture and agro-processing that took place here was phenomenal. Rice processing mills were working. Vegetable oil mills, I remember Gihok Vegetable Oil Mills was working, and it was providing offtake to all the groundnut farmers in the north, producing quality groundnut oil, not only for the Ghanaian market, but also for export. We had the Ghana Cotton Company, which was producing offtake for all the cotton farmers in northern Ghana, and providing quality seed cotton that had been ginned here in the north. And one of their main buyers was the Joapon Textiles mill. And Joapon Textiles spun that cotton into yarn and produced the grey baft that was used to produce wax prints that our mothers wear. And so GTP bought from Joapon Textiles and all the other companies that were involved in producing wax prints. And so it was an integrated business. We even had the Tiger Pito factory that produced quality pito. It was in the industrial area. For those of you who are my age, you remember. And there were other many processing plants all across the north, producing shea butter and so many other products. And so this created employment for a lot of the young people who came out of school. Unfortunately, various factors led to the collapse of these industries. And the first was lack of adequate power. At that time, the national power grid had not been extended to the north. And so there was a generating plant owned by ECG that supplied power to the households and industries in the north. And so when the international crisis hit, the oil crisis, running those ECG generators became very expensive. And so power was no longer reliable. And this affected all the industries that were in the north. And that is part of the reason why they collapsed. Aside from that, value chains were not strong enough, and so that also contributed to the collapse. We also had poor transport links. In the late 70s and early 80s, the road from Tamale to Accra became so bad, and the only means of transport you could get was called Watonchini. For those of you who are old enough, you remember Watonchini. And so it meant that industries producing here, if they had to truck their goods to the south, it sometimes took 2 days to go from Tamale to Tema or to Accra. And so the glorious past of northern industry declined. Today, I have a pleasant feeling in my heart because I believe that we've planted the first seed that will restore the North back to its glorious industrial past. And that's what Northshore is just about doing. Northshore has made nonsense of all the arguments about factors of production. I remember in secondary school I did economics, and we have what they call the factors of production. You are either near the source of the raw material, or you are near the source of the market, or you are near the source of the ports, or you are near the source of power or water. You have to factor all that into consideration. And I know that most industrialists, when they come and take a look at Ghana and they come and think about the North, they believe that the factors of production do not favor locating industries here. But Northshore has made nonsense of all that. And I asked Alhaji Nuruddin, I said, how do you bring your supplies and how do you send your finished product? He said, oh, we use the Eastern Corridor. And no, very ingenious. We use the Eastern Corridor. And when we dispatch a truck in the morning, by dusk, it is in Tema. And I can assure you it will even be shorter, because the remaining segments of the Eastern Corridor, which is the Nkwanta to Damanko stretch, are currently being worked on very seriously. And so by the first quarter of next year, the whole of the Eastern Corridor from Nakpanduri to through Atimpoku to Tema roundabout would have been done. And so your goods will arrive in an even shorter time than they currently arrive. And so you took a very good decision. Today the North has comparative advantages that I believe should attract investors here. And I'm sure many will follow in the footsteps of Northshore. First, there's peace and stability. There's safety and security in this part of the country. There is abundant litigation-free land. Take note of that. Abundant litigation-free land. It's a very important factor. I bought a farm from a white man many years ago, and I paid him. He was relocating to his country, so he sold his tractors and his land to me. Little did I know there was litigation on the land. So the white man took his money and went to his country. As soon as I went and stepped on the land to borrow the bulldozer from my brother to clear the land, they came out with cudgels and guns. And I had a young farm manager. He called me, Honorable, they want to kill me. And so I had to send some security to go and protect the young man. And so many years later, the case traveled till it got to the Supreme Court. And you know the paradox. the family the white man bought the land from lost the case. And so the new family that won the case said, okay, you have to come and regularize your documents. You know, I paid for the land again. Second payment. In the north here, there isn't that problem. You come to Yona, he will give you land, no litigation, no trouble on the land. And today, the north has reliable power supply. The national grid is extended to many parts of the north, and so there's no lack of electricity. Aside from that, we're working on the Tamale water system that will provide more water to Tamale, Savelugu, and its environs. And so with an EU facility, which we're about to sign, work will commence next year, we're going to add another 40 million gallons to Tamale and surrounding areas. By this time, we're pumping the water from the south, from Yape area, because the current water supply comes from Dalong near Kumbungu, and so another 40 million gallons will come from Yape, the White Volta, to supply sufficient water to Tamale and surrounding areas. And then apart from that, we have sunshine for solar power. Indeed, Northshore already has incorporated solar power in the current factory, but they intend to expand it. And so there is enough sunshine to provide them enough power so that they minimize how much they even use from the national grid. And this will reduce their costs and make it cheaper for the production that they are doing. Aside from that, labor costs are more affordable in the north than in the south. And so that's another comparative advantage. And now we have reliable air transport. All the domestic airlines are flying 3-4 times a day into Tamale. And the road network, like I said already, is much better than it was in the past, and soon will be first class. And so those should be factors that create an incentive for industry and investors to come to the north. You were told about the kind of financing that was done, blended financing, including international partners and government agencies like Ghana Exim. And so with the KFW funding, I want to reiterate what the German ambassador said. This is a new partnership we look for with our international partners. We look for investment and not aid. We look for investment and not aid. And this is an example of investing together. Let me also commend Alhaji Nuruddin and his partners for their own equity contribution that they put into building this factory. And then also, of course, Ghana Exim for supporting Northshore with almost $12 million of financing. Indeed, that is why we created Ghana Exim in 2016. It was the last year before I left office. It was this kind of project that we created Ghana Exim to finance. Unfortunately, after we left office, genuine industrialists and investors had no access to Ghana Exim financing. It was the politically well-connected who had access to the financing without no intention to pay back the money. And that is why today Sylvester Mensah and his group are running after so many people who took the money and have not paid. And I will continue to support them to take the money back from those who have taken our money. And so we've shifted the attention and the focus of Ghana Exim to this kind of financing. Impactful financing of such projects that provide jobs and employment for our young people. This is an example of what our vision, the 24-hour economy initiative, is meant to do. Northshore is going to run several shifts, and it means that several more young people will get jobs to do. And it's not only Northshore, there are several other factories that are coming up that are going to run multiple shifts and create businesses for our people. And so the 24-hour economy is designed to achieve the creation of jobs and accelerated exports. And Northshore certifies both, because it's created at least 2,000 jobs already, and the bulk of its products are going to be exported to bring foreign exchange into Ghana. And so Northshore is registered under the free zones, and so it will benefit from all the incentives that the free zones has to offer. Aside from that, it will also have tax incentives, because the current tax regime gives a lower tax rate to manufacturers who go to rural areas and also to manufacturers who locate in the northern part of Ghana. They will also receive duty and tax exemptions on plant and equipment. Alhaji Nuruddin has already said they have intentions of continuing the second phase. And so in the second phase, they will enjoy the exemptions from duties and taxes that they deserve. Aside from that, we're going to get Parliament to pass a net metering bill. And that will allow companies like Northshore that have their solar plants to net meter with the electricity company or NETCO, so that if they are producing more than they need from their solar plants, it will be integrated into the national grid, and there will be a meter that can calculate how much they are owed. And so if they are owed, it means NETCO has to pay them. And if they consume more, then they will have to pay NETCO the difference between their power. They call it net metering. And so we're going to introduce net metering in the country soon. Last Saturday, I visited the sites for construction of the Esikuma port. The IFC and a private investor are building a new port on the Volta Lake, and they are going to extend the Tema and Pakadan line another 7 kilometers to be able to use barges to push containers from the Volta Lake all the way up to Bupe. And so the first phase of it will be ready by end of next year. So by end of next year, Northshore will have an alternative route. They just have to deliver their containers in Bupe, and the containers will be pushed down the lake to Esikuma port and put on the Tema Akosombo line straight to the port. And so let me say that this, like the coordinator of the 24-hour economy said, is just the beginning. Northshore is the anchor tenant. This is going to become an industrial hub. And I know that Yona is going to give us much more land for all the other industries that are going to come here. This is going to become a major employment center and job creation center for the whole of northern Ghana. We believe that at full strength, this hub, which we have named the Northshore Industrial Hub, will be able to provide employment to at least 30,000 young people. This is important because it will reduce the north-south migration. When we did the African peer review mechanism and Ghana was peer reviewed, one of the things for which we were indicted was the lack of opportunities in the northern part. That was leading to an imbalance of our population. And so the population was sparser in the north because when students finish school and they have no opportunity, they just pick their bags, board a vehicle, and go to the south. And so it puts pressure on social services in the south. And so one of the recommendations of the peer review mechanism was that we should balance out development between the north and south and create more opportunity in the north so that people will remain here. And I believe that this is the beginning of what the peer review mechanism was talking about. Because a lot of the employees here, 80% of them are young girls. And all of us know that in the past, once they finished school and there were no opportunities for them, they headed down south and did the demeaning work of being human donkeys, head porters, carrying heavy loads. Many of them suffer spinal problems because of the menial work they have to do, and they are paid a pittance. And so these girls here, 80% of them, many of them are likely to have migrated down south to look for some of these menial jobs. And so more North Shores will keep more of these girls here so that they don't have to go down south looking for menial jobs. We also are amending the Procurement Act, and we're adding to a schedule of the new Procurement Act a list from the Ghana Standards Authority of all licensed Ghanaian products. A list of all licensed Ghanaian products. And any government agencies, schools, hospitals that has to procure any product on that list would have to procure from the company and the factory that produces it. And every year they will publish a recommended list for all their products, so that this is not a matter of going for competitive tender. This company produces it, this is their recommended price, you must go and buy this product instead of buying an imported product. I took note of the North Shore CEO's mention of local production of uniforms. I think that it is a thing whose time has come. We need to be firm and insist on it now. In my previous incarnation as president, we did a PPP and we set up the Ashanti, the Gayhawk shoe factory, the Kumasi shoe factory. We revamped it, and it was producing beautiful boots for the army. But because people prefer to import, they know why they prefer to import rather than buy from a government factory. They refused to buy the Kumasi shoe factory boots and rather kept importing the boots from China. And so uniforms we can produce here, boots we can produce here, protective gear for industry we can produce here. And so as part of this hub, I will challenge Alhaji Nuruddin that in the next phase we want to see the production of protective gear, military uniforms, police uniforms, prisons uniforms, immigration uniforms. We will not go and buy the uniforms from anywhere. Our commanders and all will wear made in Ghana military uniforms. And so finally, I just like to repeat my commendations again to KFW and the German government for the support. We want to see more of such partnerships and investment. And then to also thank the Ministry of Trade and Industry for the good work they are doing in terms of Ghana's industrialization. The 24-hour Economy Secretariat headed by Guzi, the Ghana Exim Company Limited, Mr. Dorr and Sylvester Mensah, I want to thank you. I want to see more of such. You should invite me to more of such. Don't invite me to corn farms that get burnt and other things. I want to see factories like this creating jobs for young people. And so I thank you very much. God bless you.
Let's give His Excellency another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And as His Excellency takes his seat, we invite everyone else to join him to take your seats as we conclude the first part of this event.
Yes, indeed. And just a couple of announcements. We'll be cutting the ribbon at the forecourt of North Shore. Just by way of information, the President will be leading that with the ministers here present, the UNA, and then the CEO of Ghana Exim Bank, as well as the North Shore CEO and the German ambassador. Also supporting would be the country directors of KFW and GIZ. So that will be happening after this. Now, after the cutting of the ribbon and the inspection of the factory, there will be a presentation that will be made to the President at the site. Abduhai?
For now, as we wrap up the first part of this program, I am honored to invite the Deputy Chief Executive in charge of banking at Ghana Exim Bank, Mr. Moses Klu Mensah, to give us the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. In the interest of time, permit me to rely on the existing protocols. Your Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of Ghana Exim Bank, I would like to thank all of you for joining us on this special occasion. Mr. President, we are grateful to you for joining us this afternoon, for spending time with us, and also to commission this factory. Today is a special day for all of us, but most importantly, it is a special day for the people of Savelugu, Tamale, and the surrounding towns. For us, in Ghana Exim Bank, this is what development finance is all about. Investing in businesses that create jobs, export growth, and forex generation. We are grateful to our traditional leaders, ministers of state, members of the diplomatic corps, our partners, and all those who contributed in making this project a reality. Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us and for being part of this occasion. May God bless us all. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
Before we wrap up from here to head for the tour, a special announcement is that the UNA has donated 2 big bulls to the President, as well as several tubers of yam. His Excellency the President has acknowledged receipt of these from the UNA. Let's give the UNA a round of applause in appreciation.
Abduhai, if they've donated 2 bulls, as a cowboy, I cannot go back to Accra. I was going to go, but bull meat is nice. So, Mr. President, I'll stay here, so I'll take care of it for you.
You must be ashamed of yourself.
It's okay, I'm happy.
As a cowboy, you should be donating bulls here.
It's all right, I have lost.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Omar Sanda earlier mentioned
those who would be escorting His Excellency on the tour. Yes.
Yes. So by way of emphasis, the board chair of Ghana Exim Bank, the CEO of the Ghana Exim Bank, the CEO of North Shore Hub, the German ambassador, the country directors of KFW, GIZ, the ministers here, and the UNA and the president would be cutting the ribbon at the factory, and from there they would be exiting. Indeed, after the president and the entourage exits, the traditional authorities exit, and then we'll be calling it a day. We have done the vote of thanks, we have done the prayers, we thank God Almighty, and we are grateful to all of you who made it to this event. We should be back in 10 years to celebrate, and we hope that in the next 10 years there will be more of this happening here at the northern region and other parts of the country. We have to take the national anthem for the exit of the So as His Excellency proceeds for the inspection, the announcement continues that the UNA did not just present 2 bulls and tubers of yam, he also added a beautiful woven smock to His Excellency the President. Thank you very much, sir. He will do that. Oh, and a smock for the German ambassador as well. Thank you very much. A smoke for the German ambassador. We also want to acknowledge the presence of Mogla Lana Idrisu Andani, the Secretary General of UNESCO Commission Ghana, Professor Osman Tahidu Damba is here as well. The CEO of GEPA, DC of Myong, Honorable Hamza, the Chief of Mogla Lana, the CEO of Signal Cable, Mustafa Kant, MP for Bushegu. My name is Abduhai Mumen, and it was a pleasure being one of the MCs for this event, and I did this together with I am Umar Rusanda Amadu. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure coming your way for the commissioning and opening of the North Shore Apparel. We look forward to a lot more of this in the North. Thank you so much. It's been great having all of you.
The others are graduating informers. Okay. The first 2,000 graduated informers. Okay. So all of them are able to, when they pick you, they put you through.
Yes.
We have various forms of lines inside.
Yes.
So if you're stitching
you have to follow the stitching. Yeah.
Before they put you on a piece of fabric, and then subsequently you do an operation.
Yeah.
One person does the shoulder, another person does side seam.
Yeah.
So the more operations you can do, the higher your skills will be.
Okay.
So
we invest a lot of money in buying raw materials just for training.
Just because when
just
you
for training.
Just for training.
You have to buy the cloth.
Yeah.
When they finish with the gas.
Somebody was saying that you can learn to drive a Rolls Royce using a tractor. You have to.
But this is a different machine.
Because it performs different operations.
Okay.
So those who are doing bar tack, the bar tack machine is different.
Yeah.
So those who are joining a shoulder is just a single needle machine.
Yeah.
And those who are doing bottom hemming, it requires a different machine.
Wow.
So and all the operations are already predetermined, standard minutes time.
Yeah.
So globally, it is accepted, what is agreed is that a t-shirt from the beginning to end, you shouldn't use more than 5 minutes.
To finish it.
To finish it. So if you are using 10 minutes in 8-hour shift, you are losing money.
Not competitive.
So that's where the time issue came from. So all of them, and he is the one from India, he measures the time.
Okay.
So
he supervises the training.
So his role is the industrial engineer.
Yeah.
So there are various experts who handles them on separate operations.
Okay.
So his is to calculate their performance.
Okay. So these ones will pass out.
And they will move to the product. Yes, sir.
That's the next stage.
So when it comes out from the line, what they are doing, they will do the quality checking. If they pass it before they iron, we don't want to iron and it is rejected. We waste power.
Yeah.
So when she passes it, she hands it over.
To make sure the stitches, everything
is correct.
Okay.
So because they are trainees, the stitching, they still have to improve on the stitching. But because this one too is not iron yet, so they are learning. So what we have usually, a new factory, you just do basic products, t-shirt. But here, they have done even more complex operations. This is nest scrap. And they have done security uniforms. So when your SLC is talking, they have done beautiful military, immigration, prisons uniforms. And they have even given away over 20,000 garments already.
Yeah, wow. You can sell to the hospital.
Yes, sir.
No, we go this way. We are going this
Production without disruption.
Okay.
Yes, sir. At the end. So they are doing, because of the time, so they are doing inspection at the other end. So we have fabric inspection machines. There's a laboratory. When we receive the inventory, we are able to test the inventory before we admit it into the run. So if there are defects, we check 10%. If we find one defect, we do 30%. If there's defect, we do 100% full container. So those machines are the far end of it.
you are unable to see the shade differences. You have white, but the shade dialogue is different from another white. And you don't want to mix it to one garment. The sleeve would be
a different white.
so we want to segregate it and make sure that one dialogue is one shirt. So that it doesn't.
We proceed to the factory here.
And embroidery there.
Okay.
And then here we do the stitching. So here we do the export.
Okay.
So it goes, the operational process goes this way. So all the waste here, all the waste goes to the biodigester.
Okay.
We get the energy from it for our boilers.
Oh wow.
And then the waste, we have irrigation. That's what we use for our lawn.
Okay.
So all the waste goes to one place.
Okay.
And then the power is used for the boilers.
Wonderful.
By the close of this year. So, Your Excellency, the entire operational process here is put here. So from fabric and trim receipt, inspection, the 4-point hours explaining, grade shading, and then we have the laboratory testing, relaxation. Some of the fabric, when it is on the rolls, it is stretched. So immediately you cut it, when it relaxes, it becomes smaller. So you have to relax it either 24 hours, 48 hours to get the full length of it before you can cut. So that's where, and the pattern is at the top. And this is the process for the So here we have 48 washrooms and 2 disabled washrooms. Ladies are this side and men are this side. You just go. So we had auto cutters and then auto spreaders to remove rejection edges. So this can cut 2,000 garments at a go.
2,000 garments
at a go. And whilst, so this one, we are currently teaching them manual cutting.
Okay.
Because if we allow them to use the auto cutter, they won't learn anything.
Yeah.
Because the auto cutter does all the job.
Yeah.
And because of our numbers, if we don't use the auto cutter, the sewing operators will not get inputs.
Yeah.
So we first allow them to learn this. And this, they cut almost close to 1,000. So each fly, in what he's doing, each fly is a shirt. So all these people, they have never seen this machine or they have zero experience in this before they came here. Yes, there's a digitizer up there that put all the specification into the plotter. It is spread and the cutter is used to follow it. So the auto cutter automatically would have just run on it once and do 2,000, 3,000 at a go. But this one, they are doing it manual. We lose money here because 70% of the cost of the shirt is from here. If they cut wrongly, the entire supply chain starts again.
And if you are losing 10% of your material through rough cutting, then you are losing money.
You are losing money. Your Excellency. We can come out from the sewing and then go back. From the sewing we can exit. No, we can exit from the sewing.
Where do you pack the finished product?
We have a 4,000. proportionally. Okay. So the building is 100 meters. So we divide from the middle. We have half here, 47 here, 47 there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they are doing.
That's the finish.
That's the finished garment. So when they cut from the line, it comes all the way to finish, and they pack from here. The full box is taken to the export processing for needle inspection.
Yeah.
In case there's a metal in it. Once it is cleared, the box is sealed.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, our uniform. Okay. It's our uniform.
Okay.
So they are doing different operations. Some are doing other people's work.
Yeah.
But our number, we are trying to make sure we close all of them before.
So everybody has this uniform.
Oh, sorry, Chief.
The deaf and dumb are on line 10 and 11.
10 and 11, okay. So I think these are the deaf people.
Which one? Yes, 10.
10.
10 and 11.
10 and 11. Take care of it.
Where do we go from here?
So we can exit to the finished goods. We can stand and then we can
out or inside here?
We can go out.
Thank you.